Welcome back to my channel for a short medium format episode. It's quite a while back that I did shoot the Mamiya RZ67 Pro IID with the Phase One IQ4, and I was looking into landscape and things out there in nature. This time I want to shoot the Mamiya 110mm and we'll look into people photography, show you the workflow without a lot of comments, and then going straight away into the sample images. Let's kick this off. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, support my work. Many thanks for that. Alright, my video back then about the Mamiya RZ67 and the Phase One IQ4 digital back included a complete tutorial on how to operate the camera, how to set it up, how to shoot with it, and all of that. So I do not intend to repeat that. What I want to do instead is I want to give you the full experience and sound of how to operate the Mamiya RZ67 with the IQ4 digital back. Will not comment, make no voice overlay, just show you the workflow, and then we'll go right into the sample images. Jetzt geht's. Super. Alright, let's look into some of these images. I selected a few in order to make my points. And let's look at this one first here. This is shot at 1/500 seconds, widest open at f2.8 on this 110mm Mamiya lens and an ISO of 100. And it has a super high resolution of 151.3 megapixel. And looking into that image, this is perfect image quality. Look at the eyes here and look at the very soft transition from a sharp foreground to a smooth and very blurry background. And clearly, this is due to the very large sensor size. It's due to a longer telelens, 110mm. It's due that I did shoot it widest open at f2.8. But this type of transition between sharp foreground, shot widest open, and very smooth and blurry background is something you typically achieve primarily on large medium format sensors. And that's clearly what we have here with the IQ4. And where the focus was sitting, you get nothing else but clarity, sharpness, and goodness. And it's quite a challenge to get the focus sitting on the eye and the eyebrows and eyelashes in this way if you shoot with such a large sensor widest open. And you saw me in the clips before where I did not comment how I pinched to zoom on the LCD display of the IQ4 from Phase One in order to zoom in, to crop in, to see in live view whether I nailed the focus or not. But very beautifully rendered image, very dreamy, and perfect separation of the foreground, my photo model, from the background. Let's go to the next one here. Same story here. And if you look here, I did not really nail the focus, right? This is almost sharp, but not fully sharp. And that happens if you shoot with this camera lens digital back combination. It is a true challenge and it needs a lot of patience on both sides. The side of the photographer who is pinching to zoom and trying to fine tune, you know, on the focus knob to get the focus sitting where it's supposed to sit. But it also requires a lot of patience on the photo model side. And the best way is to actually agree in a code word like freeze, and from that moment on, the photo model should not even breathe. Just hold still, otherwise with such a shallow depth of field, you will lose focus immediately. And here I failed, right? Focus is not really where it's supposed to sit. Of course, I could correct this now with Topaz Sharpen AI and, you know, get this in post corrected, but I wanted to show you here, let's call it the naked truth, how difficult, how challenging it is to shoot with that camera lens digital back combination. Here, another beautifully rendered image. And here the focus is sitting on the left-hand side eye. You see this here? This is also a bit more in the foreground on that image. And here I nailed it. And then it's pinpoint sharp, a clarity, a crispiness you hardly get on any other camera system. And again, the background bokeh here is beautifully rendered. Look at that. Look at the transition from her head and the hair into the background. Medium format goodness is what we see here. Here is side portrait, and again, the focus is sitting where it's supposed to sit. Look here, looks really good. And again, I want to have your attention on the beautifully rendered background. I just love the image quality coming from that particular gear. Here another one, that's, I think, the photo model posing in a way, expressing a lot of self-confidence in her face, in the way she has her arms and her hands. And again, a beautiful background and a very sharp and crispy foreground. Look at that. Really cool. Let's go to the next one. Here I asked the photo model to look somewhere else, not looking into the camera, which is the usual way you want to have your photo model behaving. But here I think this is more like a momentum which is captured here. And again, it looks really good. But if we look at the eyes, the left-hand side eye actually is sharper. And here the focus was really nailed. On the right-hand side eye, it's almost sharp, but not really sharp, you know, and that's the challenge I spoke about before. Here we have another image where the photo model was friendly smiling at me. That's very nice. The focus is nice here on the eyes, the eyebrows, eyelashes. You see a lot of details, very dreamy images, and they're all shot so far widest open at f2.8, which means the shallowest depth of field you can have on that particular gear. And here is an image which I wanted to show, a side portrait, or you could call it a half body shot, where I stopped down at f5.6. You saw me doing this live in the video clips before without commenting on them. And you saw me also dialing in the shutter speed of 1/100 seconds. And again, I did shoot at an ISO of 100. And a beautifully rendered image, and where the focus is supposed to sit, it's actually sitting. Here I nailed it. Look at that. Absolutely mind-blowing what level of detail you get with this particular lens on the Mamiya RZ67 with an IQ4 digital back. Actually, before concluding the video, let me show you one very concrete, explicit example of what I mean when I talk about transition between sharp areas into the image into a very blurry, soft background. Driven by, of course, the size of the sensor here and shot widest open at f2.8 and a focal length of 110mm on the Mamiya lens. And let's go here to the texture and look at that. Here it is sharp. And now watch when we move up here, how this becomes more and more blurry. Here at the bottom, it's still sharp. Here it starts to become blurry. And then there is a very smooth, soft transition to an ever-increasing blurriness here on that green texture. You see here is now almost completely blurry and then melting here into a super soft and beautiful background blurriness. This is just perfect. Look at that. Here, super blurry, and then the more you get closer to the area where you have reasonable focus and sharpness, you see how this transition is done. And that is clearly driven by the large size of the medium format sensor. Look at that. Here it's sharp, and then the transition is starting, and it's getting more and more blurry here. Look at that. And then it melts completely into the blurry background fuzziness. Just beautiful. That's clearly something you can achieve with larger sensors. All right, if you liked that video, don't forget to drop me your thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, peace out.